to start off, we'll let you know a little bit about it.
Welcome to RetroWare TV.
Alright, this time on Sold Separately, we're taking a look at something a little bit more modern than usual, but, you know, whatever. This thing's called the Boss Shell, and it's by PDP. And basically it's a controller that sort of fits over your Wiimote for games that play in the sideways fashion, sort of like the Virtual Console games, or specifically it came out right around the time of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, so it's meant to be used for those type of games. It's different than the classic controller in that it doesn't attach to the Wii remote through a cable, it actually just fits over it. And the classic controller has more buttons because this one only has 2, but we'll get on to all of that in a second. First, let's just compare it size-wise to some of the controllers that have come before it, so we can kind of get an idea for how big it is. Alright, now, here we have a pretty standard lineup of controllers. You can see, you know, here's the Boss, looking good, pretty snazzy. We can look at it compared to, like, the Super Nintendo controller here, the Hori digital controller that went to the GameCube, or even the Wii Classic controller here, and of course, last but not least, the regular Wiimote all by itself. You can see that the Boss Shell, it's pretty big. I mean, you know, it's easily bigger than the Super Nintendo controller. You can see here it pretty much makes it disappear when I set it on top. Then we can look at it here compared to the Hori digital controller, and you can see it's much bigger as well. And then here's a closer look at it against the classic controller. It's also bigger than that, so it's really a pretty big peripheral, you know, compared to your normal size controllers. Some people may like that, I don't know. Here's how you install it. You just stick the front end in, and then just sort of press down, and it, you know, fits in pretty good. The buttons are all laid out just like the Wii remote would be, so that has its pluses and its minuses. The minus is that the power button is right here next to the D-pad, which is, you know, not ideal, but it's recessed, so you don't really press it on accident. Also, you know, the A button is right there, right next to the D-pad also, but since in Mario Brothers you don't really use it, that's not a big deal. And then I think the bigger problem is that there are only 2 buttons, and these 2 buttons are lined up in sort of a strange way so that they're like up and down, which I think using the regular Wii remote is even easier than that. Removing it's easy. You just pull on this little tab back here and it comes right out. There we go. And you know, that's really all there is to it. It's simple, but you know, it works. I do like that it let you see which player you were in that little slot on the side there. That's pretty cool. It shows through. Other than that, it's all pretty basic. I mean, you know, the controls, the buttons feel good. The controls work just like the Wii remote does. But the only thing I don't like is the placement of the 1 and 2 button are up and down, which makes it hard to run and jump in Super Mario Bros. Wii, which it even says right on the package is what this controller is intended for. So that seems a little bit bad. Other than that small issue, I really think it's a good controller. I mean, it doesn't take any extra battery juice like the classic controller might or something, because it is just a shell that slips over it. It works pretty good, but like I said, I wish those buttons were side to side instead of up and down. I would give this one, you know, sort of a marginal thumbs up. It's good, but it's not perfect. It has a couple little problems, and I'm also worried about the hinge on the back breaking at some point, but I guess, you know, time will tell on that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Sold Separately.